Welcome to Victoria Park, the home of Hartlepool United Football Club. The club was founded in 1908 and has seen its fair share of ups and downs ever since, both on and off the pitch. Of course, some would argue that the turmoil of recent months has never been greater. Is the club still for sale? Is a deal in the offing? And should the owner, Singh, still be at the helm? Well, in a recent poll of season ticket holders, 63% of those who voted said he should stay, continue to invest in the club and pursue any prospective sale. But there are those in the town who are unhappy. They allege the ballot was rigged and the club is in chaos. Mr. Singh not only denies the allegations, he says Pools is in good shape and preparing well for the next season. So what's the state of play regarding a sale?
With one party, we were at a stage where due diligence was nearly complete and we were waiting on proof of funds, and proof of funds didn't arrive, and so we're the same as where we are. At the moment, there's 2-3 parties interested. We're going to appoint an agent now to handle the sale, so they can do what they need to do before we get involved, really, to bring credible parties to the table. And so with fans are not getting frustrated, fans are not asking us for updates every week regarding the sale, and so we can concentrate now, focusing on the new season regarding putting a squad together, and let the agent do the sales bit.
Let's look next at the ballot. How do you react to claims that it was a fix?
I think it's a total nonsense. It was a fix because I needed to know for my own peace of mind. The reason being, there was people sending me some good wishes, some really good messages, wanted me to stay on, but I needed to know for my own peace of mind that the general fans, or the majority of the fans, were behind me, and that's why we called the ballot, because that was mainly for my own peace of mind, really. And it wasn't a fix because I think we had to get some more software, especially to get the ballot done, and the IT company monitored that, the votes coming in.
My ballot in over the phone for the four people we sit together. Actually, it took me about quarter of an hour to get through all the questions they were asking me. So it was, in my opinion, it was a true ballot, and it was hard work to try and get my vote registered, but it was all done above board.
Now, Hartlepool United Supporters Trust claims that the club they love is in chaos. It's unbearable for the fans, the players, and the staff. How do you react to that?
I think far from it, really, and I think it's difficult, and that's when it makes your position very, very difficult. When you think, do I stay, do I go? And I would like to flip that question to the Hartlepool Supporters Trust. They're saying, well, I've called a ballot that's fixed. Well, when they've been putting statements out, have they asked all their members to vote? The answer probably is no. When they're putting statements out to discredit me, they haven't gone to their members to vote. So it's, like I said, it's far from it. It's in good shape behind the scenes.
They're sort of ganging up on about to sort of hopefully they sell the club, but I don't think he will.
Certain quarters in the town haven't been backwards in coming forwards with their views about Raj and his handling of club business.
Sometimes it's a really difficult situation, and sometimes you do feel like you're throwing the towel in and forgetting about it. But then you look at the other side and you're actually carrying hundreds and thousands of people's passion for the club, and then you want to keep going. But you're right, it does affect you, and I think, you know, the last interview I've done was over 2 years ago now, and that was me, passionate, being hurt, and I know I've upset a lot of people when I've done that interview.
Can you give examples of what's been said about you that's particularly hurt?
When you're getting called a liar, and when just things are just not true, whether that be, you know, somebody ex-player who wants his couple of minutes fame on the radio and you know, saying stuff that this is how the club should be run and that's how it should be done, when they really have got no idea whatsoever how a business is run. Yes, with football, I'm the first to admit we haven't got it right on the pitch. But there's a lot of things that have been right, and I've said many times before, behind the scenes, and you know, and I don't need to mention names, but people need to realise that you don't need to go, you know, far away to see when the things are not run right at different clubs. And as I've said before, you only need to look at maybe Carlisle and Forest Green. You know, they've had 2 relegations in a row for both clubs. So that's my answer, really. We behind the scenes, we were well run.
Let's turn to managers now. What's been your relationship with former managers?
Well, all the managers we've had, and yeah, again, admittedly, we've had too many changes, but we've had to make the changes if you're not getting the results. But what I can say is every single manager that's been at this club for the past 7 years, I've supported to the hilt and trying to make it work for them, to give us a team that everybody would be happy with.
I quite liked him as a bloke. We had a good relationship with him. He understood, because I went in and I said, look, you've got a changing room that's not performing because the level of what's been brought in isn't good enough. You brought in a lot of Scottish players that don't understand the level, and you brought non-league players that aren't up to the level. I said, so what we need to do in January, he said, to give us an opportunity to stay up, I need to bring in 10, 11 players. And fair play, he let me bring in 10, 11 players.
Let's turn to finance now. Is the club in debt, and can you afford to continue without a sale?
First part of that question, the answer is it's in debt to Sports England. There's a loan in place that was taken out, that was given to all clubs at this level during COVID. And then we've got intercompany loans from our companies to the club. So they're the only 2 debts you've got, but we haven't got any debts to any bank or any finance house, etc. The second part of the question, yes, you know, we have got the finances in place to keep the club going. Otherwise, I wouldn't have took that step that I did last week when we put in 215,000. And so, yeah, we'll have to keep going for now.
Where would the club be if you hadn't put in that money at the end of May?
I think very close to getting wound up. The reason being, because last time I think we were probably about a week away before it all sort of came to an end. And I think we would have been in a similar position had I not put this £215,000 in last week. The wages wouldn't have got paid. The HMRC would have served a winding up order, and then people know the rest after that.
But at the end of the day, he keeps going, and he does what he believes is right, and we have to accept that without him, we don't have a football club. I don't think there's any alternatives. So personally, I'm delighted that he's turned his thinking around a little bit, stepped back into the breach, and is happy to continue and keep us going and keep us on a level and keep trying to make it an attractive proposition, so that if one day that he does say, look, I've gone as far as I can and we're doing well, then it makes it more attractive for somebody to come in and say, well, look, yes, I'd like to do this. I'd like to take over the club, and I have the wherewithal to be able to do it. And that's the big thing. We all know that he stepped in at the last minute and helped us out, because without his efforts way back 7 years ago, we probably wouldn't be here now.
Well, the new season is looming. It's reported that some of your best players are going to leave.
I can't give any guarantees, but I think it's fair to say we're a little bit behind, tying players down, purely because the sale is supposed to be going through. So we haven't, because just put yourself in my position, that I was not in a position to negotiate with players because we weren't sure what the new people would want. Do they still want those players? Do they not want those players? So we've only started talking to people this week, back end of last week and this week, because now we know which way we're heading. And so I think players wanting to leave, I don't think is the case. It's a case of negotiating both ways and trying to get them to stay. As I keep saying, there's a lot of things that are right at the club, and admittedly we haven't got it right on the pitch, and I keep saying that, and we're desperately trying to do that.
You haven't had an easy ride over recent months. Many people would have said, that's it, I'm walking out, leaving, put the club into administration. Why not you?
Believe me, there's plenty of times I felt like that. So I felt like that a couple of years ago when we got relegated and I was getting all the abuse, and I did feel like it. But then you look at the other side and you think, no, it's not. You know, it's a heart and soul of the town. It's heart and soul of the fans, and it means a lot to a lot of people. And that then gives you the encouragement to hang in there and try to make it work. At the same time, if somebody comes out, I've said it many times, if somebody comes along that we feel is going to do better at the club and has got the resources to do so, and that's the big one, by the way, maintain what needs to be done, then we will have a look at it. But as of yet, 2 years in, we haven't had anyone.
Finally, what message do you have for the fans?
My message to the fans is thank you for supporting me, the ones who voted for me, and the ones who haven't voted for me, just cut us some slack, just bear with us, we're trying to get it right, and hopefully we can give you a team that every fan can be proud of.
You've got to have this club. It's heart, it's part of the town, it's the heartbeat, and without it, it would be a pretty sad place.